Thank you.
Visiting your washroom, I've seen a new development.
Thank you.
Your compound, your car parks,
yes,
your studios, and even the joy of seeing the restaurant back on our screens. I think we have to. And I want to use this opportunity to tell all Ghanaians that this is new GBC.
Thank you.
So go and pay your TV license.
Go and pay it and be an ambassador for us in Parliament.
The GBC I used to know.
Right.
It's not the GBC I'm seeing today.
Exactly.
This is a new GBC.
And
I have to congratulate you and your
we aim
MD.
to even do much better.
Yes.
Once we get you to pay your TV license.
Your MD and all the staff. I have to congratulate you.
You've taken off. I'm sure you are going to pay sharp.
Well, I will do exactly that.
Okay.
Yeah, immediately after the show, I'm going to pay.
Tell the MPs to pay.
Yeah, we are going to do that. I think we need to support our own. This is the mother of all stations. We've struggled. You've worked so hard. You've worked so hard to bring it to what it is today, and you need our support. All Ghanaians should support.
MPs
we are going to support.
Us. Politicians have bashed DTV for years. DTV by us. DTV.
Yeah, it's always like that. It's always like that. It's always like that. Mostly,
anyway, we've been improving your budget for you to get money to do all.
But you don't fight for us to get enough.
But the little
look at the compound. Look at the facility.
You've done very well. I can now see asphalted roads within the GBC compound.
Thank you very much, and thank you for agreeing to pay. But I'll make sure you pay before you leave here. But the previous, during the previous interview, there was a point raised that I thought was very, very important when Kate was interviewing the reps from the Presbyterian conference that's coming up. The MP, there's no smooth transition from one MP to the other.
Exactly.
When, let's say somebody loses. You know, I know you won your primaries, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you lost the last time. Okay. So whoever takes over from you, was there any transition? Was there any handing over notes? Was there any, let's say, training that should guide the person taking over? This is something I don't think happens in Parliament.
It doesn't happen.
So every time Parliament has to restart.
It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. And I think that it is because the MPs themselves, first and foremost, the MPs don't have offices.
The word I was looking for was the debriefing.
Yeah. We don't get it because first and foremost, the MPs have been trying to have offices in the constituencies. Those offices we think should be constructed by government, equipped by government, so that you have your secretarial staff. In that case, there can be proper handing over. But it's just survival of the fittest. When you are an MP, you will have to know how to start. You will have to go and look for where you can comfortably work when you are in the constituency.
Right.
So when there is change of government or change of MPship, when you are voted out or you are no more going, the new one that is coming, he's also coming to start on a fresh note.
Making use of the constituency offices?
The constituency offices are not available. What I'm saying is that yes, what we want is that there should be a constituency office for the MP, whether NDC, MPP, PNC, who is occupying the seat. It's like an official office, so that there should be official officers designated to handle that MP, just like the ministries. So when you are handing over, just like a minister that is leaving office, that is handing over, the staff of that ministry still remains. So he comes to work with them.
Right.
That is what we are advocating for. Until that happens, we will continuously doing this knee-jerk thing.
Right. Yeah. All right, what's your take on that? Because when we are talking about development and its lack thereof, we have to go to the grassroots, the crux of the matter. From the assemblyman to whoever to the end, you the MPs, you also don't have it right. So when you get to Parliament,
well, to me, it is the way that our constitution is drafted. We don't have anything like continuity in Parliament. Every Parliament is on its own. When the 7th Parliament ended, the 7th Parliament is dissolved,
right,
and a new Parliament is formed. So normally, first we used to say, oh, my senior colleague, but the fact is that we are all equal. The previous parliament in which you were a member has been dissolved,
right,
and a new parliament is formed. So until that amendment is made, any MP that comes to parliament comes to start a new parliament.
Right.
And I think it's because the constitution itself does not see members of parliament as developmental agents. We are lawmakers. But it is the making, the implementation aspect of the constitution that has pushed members of parliament to be part of developmental projects.
Right.
And because of the common fund part, about 5% of it that's given to the MP to support emergency projects.
Right.
So when you see that 5% cannot build a whole school project for it has happened in my constituency. And then you said, oh, I will use 3 years in putting my 5% together to get 3 classroom block for school A.
Right.
And then you do the first year, first fees, second year, first fees, and you lose. Don't think the next MP coming is going to use his common fund to continue your project. So we must take a second look at the constitution itself, the way members of parliament responsibilities have been drafted in the constitution. We must take a look at it and see how best we can help to get things done.
That should take me to my first story from the Ghanaian Times. You know, this issue of continuity and the need for subsequent government and ministers and MPs to continue what has been started. I remember as a mainstream journalist, I covered 40-year development plan for Ghana, 50-year, every time there's something else, and nobody follows it. And here we are, Ghanaian Times, front page, banner headline, Circle loses Dubai accolade. Disorder in Kwame Nkrumah interchange enclave, squatters, addicts, street beggars, others have a field day. John Mahama's former President John Mahama's Dubai.
Look at legacy.
What did you say, Honorable? I didn't hear what you said.
I said President Mahama's legacy.
Legacy.
It's one of his legacies. Yeah.
Well, that's what it's doing. Have you gone by there quite recently?
No, really. Good morning to you yourself. Good morning to your distinguished viewers. The problem of this country about continuity and the way we handle things, it all boils down to how the constitution was crafted. And I think it's a high time we go back to the drawing board to look at how we can review and amend certain portions of the constitution to reflect current days happening. We've moved far. We've implemented this constitution in 1993, and I think that it's about time we honestly review it, and so that it can reflect modern days happenings. What we can take stock, we can look at the weaknesses of the constitution, the strengths and the opportunities available for us, so that all of that will help us so that we can really move forward as a country. Many things we are not able to do it because of the minuses in the constitution. So we should go to the drawing board and correct them. Let's get the positives right.
Constitution, don't you think that as a nation we've become too obsessed with politics, that we politicize
it is the constitution.
Everything?
It is the constitution. The constitution has made everything virtually political. Everything, because somebody will have to appoint somebody. People naturally don't grow. Even the security agencies, the so-called independent institution, read the constitution. Somebody must appoint the person.
Yeah.
People don't naturally, let's get these officers, the so-called independent state institutions. People should naturally grow to the highest positions. Yeah. You understand? Yeah. Not that somebody will have to do somebody's bidding for the person to be appointed. That is why we are not getting it right. So that is why I think that the main problem we have in this country is how the constitution was carved. Yes, it served us up to a point, but let's review it. We cannot continue this way. As long as we continue this way, we will come and put blame on one another. This party hasn't done this party. When the next party comes, it's going to be the same thing. Because the next government or the next president coming, he's going to use the same constitution to make appointments about people he think. Look at even the police council, the military, all of this. So somebody is IGP, but he's careful that I can be removed. You know, but if naturally he climbs through the ladder to become an IGP. And the constitution, you know, give him that backing.
Yeah.
No party, no person can go and say that you want to remove him. And he will do the right thing.
Right.
You know, but most of the so-called independent institutions, they are not able to function well because they are watching their back. He wants to protect his job. He wants to protect her job. That is the problem we have in this country.
Honorable Ayepe.
Well, I prefer to agree with my brother.
So the Constitution is not protective enough of
the Constitution after 30 years need to be reviewed, and I agree with him. There are bills that we can pass into acts to support the implementation of the Constitution. But I think apart from the Constitution that allows the president to appoint everybody, including even when you go to the lowest house, that is the assemblies, where Ghanaians have queued to elect assembly members, the Constitution allowed the president to appoint 30% of appointees to the assembly.
So even
that makes the assembly a bit weaker to be critical,
including presiding members.
Yes, on government issues. So I think we have to look at the Constitution, but the basic issue that we must also look at is our attitude. Our attitude of maintenance, the way we behave, the way we do our things in this country must also be taken.
I do agree.
Look at this issue that I raised about the Kwame Nkrumah circle interchange. People have used the place as their sleeping place. You go there early morning and people are sleeping there, and we have assemblies. We have the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, who's supposed to be in charge, cleaning the place, make sure that the place is well sanitized. But what is happening there? You go and see renovation, repair, maintenance of the place is an issue.
Isn't it the same politics and people looking behind their back? Because you go there and they will threaten, we won't vote for you if you sack us. Look at Sodom and Gomorrah. For as long as I can remember, it's the same attitude.
For me, my suggestion is that when such a defeat is built, let's look at the contractor. Can we put certain percentage for the contractor so that after the next 5 years after the construction, we'll be taking care of the place for us? The last time I drove through the Pukwasi interchange, if you go there, it's also started doing the same as it's being done to the Circle interchange. Pukwasi interchange, the medians, there's weeds there, nobody is cleaning it, nobody. Let us see how we can even put some green grass there, keep the place neat. Nobody is sweeping and keeping the dust off the road. So when it rains, the dust that have been provided for the rain water to get into the drains has been blocked.
Right.
So water settle on the surface of the road. And the first enemy to asphalt is water. So very soon we are going to get this asphalt peel off. And potholes are going to be developed. So I'm of the view that let's look at it. If we cannot do it, if the assembly cannot do it, if Ministry of Roads and Highways can't do it, then we must try and see.
If local government can come in?
Yes, then we have to see how we can use the private sector to support that. And also, if President appoints you and assign you to be a minister, a deputy minister, a CEO, you must also be a bit responsible. I drove through the Accra Nsawam Road yesterday. That was last night. I spent close to 3 hours from Nsawam to Accra. Why? Because a contractor has been assigned to construct the road from Ofanko to Media. And I asked myself, is there any residence engineer supervising the contractor doing the work? You know, he has stretched the construction for a full stretch of the route. That is from Ofanko to Media. And access road has not been provided. But if you go and take the contract, it is the responsibility of the contractor to provide access road while construction is going on.
Is that in its contract?
Road? No. Yeah, it is.
Was the awarding institution careful enough to put that in?
It is in the contract. Every road, I've been chairman for roads and transport in Parliament for 4 years. And I'm saying every contract that is giving road contract, there is a clause in the contract that states that the contractor should provide motorist access whilst construction is still going on. No warning signs, nothing. So when you are running, when there's even a pit ahead of you, there's no sign to show that I'm heading towards a pit, and nobody cares. I think it is important, Ghana Highways Authority, Mr. Nti, if you are listening to me, can you get your men there? Who is supervising that contractor? Can we do something about it? I think it is time Ghanaians will set up. Not everything that we point fingers on the president and his government. The president has appointed you. The president has assigned you to perform certain duty. Make sure that you also do it well to the satisfaction of the president. And also, I'm of the view that President Akufo-Addo must also take the cane and start the whip. If you cannot do the work, give way. Let another person come and do it better.
He will surely give way. He's hesitating soon.
He's not talking about the president. Don't cause problem for you. He's talking about those who have been appointed. Don't cause problems for the young
people. If you cannot do your work, give way for others.
They will not give them. Who said they are not doing their work? Is the supervisor. The supervising
is the problem.
Is the problem.
What I'm saying, the president has appointed you as a roads minister. The roads minister. Under him, we have the CEO of Ghana Highways Authority.
All of them are
and the contract has been given. The supervising engineer is the Ghana Highways Authority.
But that is why he's saying that, the president must take the cane and start whipping. No, before you come here, I know you can chip in it, but Parliament of Ghana are 30 years forward with deepening representation. I've seen here use of multiple languages, positive discrimination, and so on and so forth. Some people have really expressed concern about how we quickly laugh, and these days the social media troll members who are not even fluent in the English language. We are so bent on speaking the English rather than looking at who can get the work done. And in our history, in our country, we've seen it. People can speak before you put a twist on it. They speak the most impeccable English, and I'm not talking about the president. But when it comes to getting their hands dirty, it becomes a big problem. We saw former President Rawlings, may he rest in peace. English was not his matter. It wasn't a big deal for him. At least during the revolution time, getting the work done is what mattered. But these days, Parliament, there are some parliamentarians who would dare not even speak. I would dare say there have been some there who've been there 8 years and have never even spoken because the English language is a problem.
Let's
Honourable. Okay, you just finished, so let me come to Honourable Depila.
We made Parliament, even in our schools, English is the official language, and Parliament is the same. Right. Even when you interject with Chui or any other language or any other Ghanaian language, you have to explain what you mean. Right. You should not assume that everybody understands that particular Ghanaian language. And for me, the problem of Parliament, the problem of Parliament not able to deal with this issue boils down to the kind of leaders or parliamentary candidates we present. Truly, you don't need any higher qualification to go to Parliament, according to the Constitution. You don't need any higher qualification. Just 18, 21 years, sound mind, you can speak English, your party presents you for elections, they vote for you, and you are in Parliament.
You go make ridiculous promises, and then they vote for you. Splash money, and then...
Yeah, that is what happens now. But like previously, he was saying something, but that is not actually the core mandate of Parliament.
Right.
The mandate of Parliament is to make laws.
Right.
But we veered into being development agents when the resources are not there. To be honest with you, resources are not allocated to parliamentarians for development. What is given to parliamentarians for development cannot actually do development. It cannot, unless
that's the MP's common fund.
That's the MP's common fund, which is very common. It cannot do nothing.
I like that.
Yeah,
common fund is common.
It's very common because if you allocate 100,000, sometimes it comes at 70,000, 80,000 per quarter. You don't even know which community that you are going to support with. So how many of 70,000, 80,000 do you need to put together to be able to put up a 3-unit classroom block? That is very difficult.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
So, two things. Some people are naturally extroverts. They can talk, but they cannot get the work done. Some people don't like to talk much, but they are action people.
Right.
They know how to get the work done. So everybody fits in somewhere. So even in Parliament, when they are looking for certain people who can stand in the floor of the House and articulate, they know those they will select to talk. If they are looking for people who can quietly take action or get the work done, then they know who and who to get. Both parties, they know, they understand that. That is why mostly you see some MPs all the time, they are the ones standing on their feet and talking. But if you ask the leadership, both sides, they also tell you that, yes, he is talking, but if you ask him to go and implement this, then it's difficult. If it's about implementation of a certain function, then give it to this quiet man sitting here. He can also get it done. So everybody and his strength.
Yeah.
Now, many of you talked about some MPs who are not able to talk in the floor of the House, but their constituents love them.
Exactly.
They love them because when they get to the constituency, look, let me tell you, any MP, you can be very good in the chamber. Right. You can talk, you can speak all the English, but if you are not doing very well in the constituency, you won't come back to Parliament.
Yeah.
You will not come back.
Yeah.
So I tell every MP to balance it. Just balance it. Just at least 50-50 or 60-50, and you are good to go. But if you want to be a champion in the chamber and yet in the constituency, your impact is not felt because the constituents don't eat, they don't really benefit so much from what you say in the chamber. They think probably sometimes they will tell you are there marketing yourself.
Right.
But when we even want to see you, accessibility is a problem. You are not visible in the constituency. You don't attend our social gatherings. Yeah. You
always roll up.
You are always not around. How do you want us to continuously voting for you? So it should be a balanced job. Don't just be carved for chamber business and in the constituency is zero and the vice versa.
I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but I'm sure we'll have the social media segment. Those of you watching, tell us what you expect to see in terms of changes in Parliament after 30 years. Yes, when I finish, I'm going. I'm not coming back to host you, so let me cause the trouble and go. Let's say, keep it clean. You know, GTV, we don't go that way. Keep it clean. What are some of the changes? What are some of the improvement? What do you like? What don't you like? What do you want to recommend? Kate Ado is here. She works in Parliament. After this, she'll fight with me, but that's okay. But Honorable, you are not in Parliament.
Yeah.
So I guess you can say as it is. What did you find most frustrating as an MP whilst you were there? Well,
to me, it is the demands from our constituents that they think once you are MP, you should be able to meet all their demands, of which is not the case. So it at times makes some MPs very difficult to even answer calls from their constituents, visit their constituency, because looking at your income and what has been given to you to manage yourself and your constituency, if at every month you want to visit the constituency and you don't have any additional job for an additional income.
I'm talking about in Parliament, the chamber, the house, the institution. What don't you like? What didn't you like about it? What did you find frustrating?
Yeah, it's about the situation that we have a standing orders that we work with. And the standing orders is that if you cannot speak English, you are free to speak our local language for somebody to translate for you. But I'm yet to see any member of Parliament who would revoke that standing order, that portion of the standing orders, and say that, look, for me, I can't speak English. Still, I want to talk. I want to take part of the debate. So I want somebody to do the translation for me whilst I speak my local language. It's not been able to do that. As soon as that is done, the next time, if you don't take time, the next time you are not coming back to Parliament. This has happened before. When an MP was taking part in a debate in the chamber, and he was talking about trees under school under trees, and the next time the man did not return to Parliament. So the electorates, our constituents, must also understand that the Constitution made provision that irrespective of your educational background, whether you can speak good or bad English, you can still go to Parliament to represent your people. And we must be bold as MPs also to use that portion of the standing orders that gives us the opportunity to use the local languages. I did part of my schooling in India. If you go to the Indian Parliament, they are free to speak their local language in Parliament, and they have gadgets that they use to do the translation for them. So when you get that, whether you've been to school, whether you can speak, there are some people, parliamentarians in India, who can speak very good English, but in Parliament, they will never speak English. They will speak their local language. So I think we must get up there. I'm looking at the day that Honorable Chairman Sabons will get up in Parliament and say that I want to speak Twi, so that it will motivate others to do the same.
And we are able to do it at various functions.
Simply because you cannot speak English does not mean that you can't.
When programs and seminars and conferences are going on, we have translators.
Yes.
Who can just so it can be done. It is possible.
We travel to. I attended a conference in Czech Republic. There are gadgets that we used. We went to Montreal, Ghana, Akao, Ghana International Civil Aviation Organization conference in Akao. You go here, there are gadgets that you can use to do translations.
Anyway,
so I think we have to go there so that people who can't also or speak good English can still be in Parliament and take part in debates.
Honorable Dapila, tell your people that don't worry, the $1 million topic, we'll talk about it. We'll keep it. So I see they send you a message, don't worry. We'll talk about it. But let's handle this sad news. I mean, I was particularly saddened the death of Honorable former Minister Sherry Aite. We woke up and were told that she's gone. I saw it, Honorable Dr. Buame's page. I just screamed. I just couldn't believe it. But we are losing some of our greats. And I saw a message from the NDC saying that they've been really devastated by her passing on. Honorable.
I was so sad to hear the news of my mom's passing. Anybody listening to me and knowing my relationship with her, when it comes to the Upper West region, I'm her son.
Her darling boy.
Her darling boy. Mom, we crossed paths many years ago, but when she wanted to contest for the vice chairperson of the party in 2018, I was one person who coordinated her campaign in the Upper West region and beyond.
Right.
Then we've been very close. She knows my family. I visit her all the time. So when the news came, honestly, Madam was very active, even in Asen North. She was all over the place, gallivanting around, crisscrossing, campaigning to ensure that Jokwesin won the seat. So after the Asen North, she took ill, and the daughter, who is a medical doctor, came to pick her to the United States. And when she got her condition deteriorated so fast, and she passed on the Saturday early morning.
So she left and died for the NDC?
She left, so I understand the daughter called the former president to inform her. So it was the former president who sent a delegation to inform the family.
Oh,
so that was how it happened.
Right.
Madam Sherry, you are forever you'll be in our hearts. We will miss you. The NDC family will miss you. Whilst I let me also express my condolences to the only daughter of Madam Sherry Aite and the husband, my good friend, the Lebanese man, I call him. He was so devastated because if you know their relationship, they are just best friends. Right. They move together. The man drives her. They do everything together. So I'm sure the man will be so devastated, as well as the daughter. But that is nature. Yes, all of us cannot escape it. Yeah. Death will come when it will come. May his soul rest in perfect peace.
So definitely come one day. But before then, how you live, the legacy you leave behind as what? Did you ever have an encounter with her?
Not really, but I was monitoring her from afar. A very decent, nice lady. He was a deputy minister, and I will use this opportunity to sympathized with the family and the children and Ghana as a whole, and also the NDC family. I quite remember right from school when I heard the name Sherry Ait, and I grew to become an MP, and still that name was still around. That had been in the system for a very long time. Nobody, I did not hear of her sickness. It was very sad. And my condolences to the family.
One thing that you learn from Madame is how to personal care, how to take care of herself. She was very careful about what she eats, what not to do, and all of that. Very careful.
And her walks.
And her walks. You know, there are certain. I remember when she came to the Upper West to campaign, and I took her to a restaurant. Then she said, the people say, oh, they only have banku. Madam says, no. Cletus, I've never eaten banku. I don't eat those things. Fufu, no. So it was difficult for me, and I'm like, wow, this is Upper West. You know, TZ and those things is what is available. But my mom is saying she doesn't eat any of this. You know. So it was so difficult. So she was very careful about what she eats and all of that. But God knows best. A decent politician, you know, you talk about the fact that growing up she was around. You know, it's not easy for a lady or a woman to be in politics all this while without being soiled. But I think she conducted herself very well. You wouldn't hear any ministry she serves.
May she rest, but you know, at a point in time, there were some issues, but we will not talk about that. But she did, as for handling herself well, seeing her, quote unquote, dirtying herself on radio or any program, or, I mean, saying things that will find very, you know, unpalatable. You never got her. You know, that's a fact. That's a fact. Okay. Right, still staying on a woman. Please put your phone down. Which one is yours? Before we went for the weekend, we heard this news. A former minister's house help or helps have allegedly made away with $1 million, some hundreds and thousands of euros, and unspecified millions of Ghana cedis. It was wild all over the social media. NDC came out to say, call for her to resign. Social civil society organization called for her to resign. And then we saw, was it yesterday or Saturday, that she had resigned and the president accepted her resignation. This had generated a lot of controversy and a lot of talk. But as a woman, I would take it from an angle and a gender advocate that at least she resigned. She did the honorable thing. Honorable IOP.
Just an unfortunate situation. I met
at least she resigned.
Yes.
We've seen too many times. The man will not resign. They will stay and fight on. But she has resigned. And the Daily Analyst banner headline says, I'll be fully exonerated after investigation. Cecilia Dapa vows, I've conducted myself with integrity throughout my public service. That's another issue to be talked about, but she resigned.
Exactly. I met this lady in Parliament. That was 2009 to 2013. Such a decent woman, ready to help the young one that entered Parliament, very sociable. I used to crack jokes with her. I said, for you, I want your husband as an uncle. So when he dies, I will take over. We call it Akans, we call it Kunabia. And she says, hey, it's my uncle's, my wife's nephew. That's what we used to call ourselves. And very decent woman. So when I heard them, I said, why? In the first place, why such an amount should be kept at home? Because you know,
we need to be a bit careful because the case is in court.
Exactly. Exactly. The Bank of Ghana has rules and regulations that governs how much dollars or foreign currency you can even keep on you.
Exactly.
Even now, if you go to Parliament, a third party, you cannot withdraw more than 5,000. Though I still think that rule must be reviewed because of the inflation and the situation in which we find ourselves. Well,
and even in here we are talking about cities.
Exactly.
You can't withdraw even
exactly 5,000 Ghana cedis. Exactly.
Yeah.
This time, if you're having third-party check more than 5,000, you have to accompany the person to the bank and cash for it. We are all praying for cashless economy. You travel to China and you hardly see people holding money. They have a card what they can use to do whatever transaction that they want to do. Apart from that, we are also of the view that there's this perception going around that people are doing business with the dollars. They buy the dollar down. When the rate gets up, then they sell it.
Yeah.
It's making our city very weak because when the dollar becomes scarce in our banks and the forex system, then of course it affects the city. So nobody was expecting a minister to keep such an amount in the house. But as we said, the case is in court. It's good that she has resigned. For this one, whether be male or female, I don't think anybody
we've seen worse when the men stay on.
For this, the gender actually is not an issue. She has done an honorable thing. She has done the honorable thing by resigning. Nobody forced her to resign. She said, "Look, I want to stay back. I want to resign." And in her resignation letter, she said that I will be vindicated. I think I haven't done anything so bad. Let us allow the investigation team to do their own thing. Let's allow the court to go on and see what happens. And she herself has called the institution. She didn't mention, but I can say the serious fraud office. We can talk about the special prosecutor, and others can also jump in to find out, to know the source of the money. Those who are close to her, before even she entered parliament,
irrespective or regardless of the source of the money, was it a good thing to have such an amount of money at home?
That's what I said initially.
That's also something that investigations may reveal, whether it was stolen at a go or it was in bits over a period of time.
Whatever it is, you are not supposed to keep more than $10,000 on you. And the money was taken within 4 months, as the report that we have read so far. So the question is that you kept the 5,000 within 4 months. I don't think you can hit $1 million and 300,000 has been mentioned. But let's allow the investigation, the cost to continue. Right. But I am of the view that those who are close to the woman were saying that he was a very rich man before he entered parliament. So let us keep on doing the investigation to find out and know, apart from keeping such an amount at home, which is illegal per our rules and regulations governing currencies in this country.
Now the source of the money.
Let's look at the source of the money.
The bigger picture.
People claim she should be able to have such an amount even before she entered parliament at Kufuor's time. The investigators will find out. The ministry where she is, I would be surprised if such an amount could be given to an individual as a minister, because we know how some of the ministers are richer than others and all that. But let's leave that.
All right,
let's allow the investigators.
Just give me a few minutes. Let's go to Salma for the social media. Are we ready for Salma for the social media comments before I come to you? Because the NDC came out immediately, the news broke, called for her resignation, have called for investigation into the matter, and let's see if you are satisfied now. Now, Thelma.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome. Homecoming. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you for being a part of our conversation. The headlines is lit. It's your space, the windscreen crasher.
I'm trying to keep up with you.
05555561034 is our WhatsApp number. Thank you for sending your message. I'll be reading them in a very short while. For now, Alan and the crew are out at Hacho, if I'm not mistaken, and they are keeping an eye on some developments there. Once they are ready, we'll go over and take that report. Let me read just a few of the comments before we go to the team outside. Someone is watching us and he's sharing some opinions with us. So these are the views of those who are sharing them and not the views of any of us here at GBC. Every sector of this country belongs to a ministry. So I expect the president to monitor each ministry and its output and replace those ministers that are not up to task. This is a long one. When the head fails to function well, the whole body misbehaves. You are living in a country always talking about attitude, but it's whose work is it to make sure that the things being done the thing has been done by law enforcement, and so that's quite a long one. And try and keep it short so that we can get as much of it as we can. In all fairness, I find it despicable the ostrich syndrome the nation is displaying with the Cecilia Dapa issue. As a country, we should confront the issue of corruption with seriousness, and the truth is its status quo with political office holders. I dare ask, if some of those shouting on rooftops have never taken bribes, God save our country. Charles Mensah sent us that from Tema West. Charles Mensah, so I don't know how or what you call taking bribes, but no investigation has proved such. So come again so that we can understand what you're saying a bit more. No one has mentioned taking bribes. Did a court say anyone has taken bribes? Let us know. Maybe you have some information that we don't know, and we'll appreciate knowing that as well. 05555 is our WhatsApp number. Alan is out and about. Mr. Tego, where are you? Report.
Yes. Hi, good morning, Thelma, and thank you very much for coming to us. We're coming to you from Hacho, and this structure you see behind me is the Hacho Yam Market. Fortunately or unfortunately, it has been passed on to a real estate developer, and we understand is being developed into townhouses. Very, very welcome, very, very good. But there is a problem with the development, and that problem is one which directly affects the neighboring church behind the Yam Market. The road between the development and the church is currently being narrowed by the construction. Why is it so? It appears that the contractor is overstepping the boundaries of his property. You will see here the edge of his property, which is where his wall ends. But in the last few weeks, the contractor has broken down his wall and expanded the boundaries of his land. And the neighbors raised the issue, but it all fell on deaf ears. The church approach, it also fell on deaf ears. And so last Friday, I spoke to the planning members of the Abokobi Municipal Assembly, who told me that they were here themselves. The whole of the planning, the Abokobi Municipal Assembly planning architecture, we're out here to meet them, to stop them from continuing the works as they are currently, as you can see, ongoing. What we are unable to say, though, is whether the stopping them last Friday would be the case until such a time when the demarcation of the property or the land is fully agreed between the developer and the local assembly. I have with me here this morning the assembly member for this area, who is going to join me very shortly to throw a bit more light on the development and what he knows about the development, what they have been told by the developer, and whether or not the developer is going to listen to the warning to stop the expansion, just so that the road between the development and the church is wide enough for two cars to easily drive through. My camera is pointing in that direction, where you can see the very narrowing of the road, so that if a car have to drive through, a tractor or a truck will not be able to, and two taxis will not be able to freely drive through. In much the same way, if the church has an event and a car is having to drive out of the church, then there'll be a problem in navigating the road very well. I have the assembly member with me, and so I'm going to go straight to him. Assembly member Ninoy is joining us to throw a bit more light on the issues as they are unfolding here at this Yam Market. Good morning, Honorable Member.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you, sir?
Fine, sir.
We have joined you on your patch. Honorable, we see a development going on, and neighbors to this development have raised a number of complaints. And so we're told the assembly architecture, planning architecture came out to stop them. What do you know about this development as the assembly member for this neighborhood?
Thank you, and very good morning to everyone on the site. At least this development happened to be going on some time back, and I was in a meeting when I was called by the church that there's an issue here that needs to be attended to. So actually, it was a former assembly member who called me to inform me about that. Immediately, I called one person from the palace to inform him about the issues going on here. Later, I called the Assembly Works Department, which they also heeded to my call. So I think they came in later to look at the issue. Actually, it was a technical subcommittee that came. They were going on their own, so they passed through because it's a complaint made to them. So they came and they asked them to stop the work.
What will be the extent of your involvement as the assembly member if such issues are raised and you have to liaise with the planning architecture of the local assembly?
I have a lot to do with it. In fact, I don't know the actual length of the road.
Right.
What I'm going to do now is to go back and then get those information from there, and then see how best we can arrange and then address the issue here. Actually, so far as the technical committee has come in to look at it and they've stopped them, I believe they will call the two parties and see their documents and see exactly where the problem is, and they will address it.
Thank you very much for speaking to us at GTV this morning. And so, Thelma, coming back to you, it is hoped against all odds that this won't be one of the many developments with impunity springing up in our various neighborhoods. If this is going to be townhomes, it is very well and good, but it must be in conformity with local planning structures. This so far has been Keep an Eye coming to you from the Hacho Yam Market, which is currently being developed into townhomes. As always, Thelma, my name is Darrell Alan Tego. Thank you very much for coming to us. I remain your chief laborer.
Alan, thank you for that report. Perhaps our panel will have a bit to unpack from that story. Reporting live from Hacho, our correspondent Darrell Alan Tego. Our WhatsApp number again, 05555610034, and these are a few more of your messages and your thoughts on our screens. The second Deputy Speaker of Parliament made a comment about the composition of the 137 members of NPP and 137 members making the work of Parliament difficult. My question to your panel is, how best can they dialogue for good governance? How best can they dialogue for good governance? Alhaji Dauda is asking from Medina Estates. Please, when NDC chairman Mr. Obedesemo's house help stole $10 million from his house, do they, the NDC, call for an investigation? More messages on our screen. Good morning, Dr. Gifty. Welcome back to GTV. You should have come with your twin sister, Kate Ado. See? You haven't watched us, so go and watch. They came with a packaged nicely, and they brought it. So they can't forget your coverage of the GAN Twin Festival. As for Auntie, she loves ye. You have dashed it to her.
We were
Come on, Auntie. I won't be surprised if the minister was only attempting to evade the DDEP, which was rife then. Kay sent us that message. Good morning. Blessing says, I'm enjoying the conversation. Okay. So we are still on our screen, 05555610034. Where are the child rights NGOs? I'm talking about that matter you discussed. Is it lawful to engage a minor who was less than 18 at the time as an employee? We were exchanging gold for oil because we didn't have enough dollars. And see how much hard currency one minister has at home. Out of the lot, small was stolen. Okay. Please ask why the government is covering the 1 million with the NSS allowance. Is that what is happening? But that's your opinion anyway. Let's see if I can get a few more messages. Tony is smiling so brightly, and I wonder why. I guess I know. A big welcome to Lady Gift and Lady Kate. Home sweet home. Tony Good sent us that message. A country where we punish our students for speaking our own language, but we claim ourselves an independent country. Shame on us. We'll never succeed if we don't change our attitude. Silas from Adanse Dompoase sent us that message. More, Alhaji Haruna from Ashaiman. Ghana today is so politically divided between NDC and MPP in all our institutions. So even if the constitution is reviewed, nothing will change. And it is a fact, every Ghanaian in Ghana is NDC or MPP. Alhaji Haruna said this from Ashaiman. Views expressed by these messages and the people who they are for those who send them, not the thoughts of any of us here. Good morning, BFS. The man in blue is indeed a Ghanaian, a citizen for that matter, not a spectator. I'm very happy this morning. The constitution needs amendment. Mr. Bonzi, this is quite a lengthy one. Try and keep it short so we can all get to have a feel of what everybody thinks. Good morning, GTV. Good morning. The Proverb 31 ladies who are back on the screen today, we miss you, and I want to congratulate you for the great job you have been doing behind the GTV screen. Aiko. So, Aiko to our two beautiful presenters this morning. Please, I'm a YouTuber and I want to visit your wonderful TV station and learn more and also campaign for the TV license. Yes, we need more campaigns for the TV license fee. *447 *333 hash is the code. Do endeavor to pay. I hope everything is going on well. It's going swell. Thank you very much, and keep your messages coming in. Good morning to you, Aaron Babakuko Komisa from Latebiokoshi. I think the president best understands what inflation is all about and its adverse effects on the economy if it is not controlled by a proper economic management team. My point is the president, with all due respect, should set his economic team that should be updating him on the market situations, how prices and goods and services keep increasing, and how end users find it difficult to afford or consume a product because of its price. Love, not hate is the hashtag he is using, and we are getting a lot more on our screens. Keep the thoughts coming through, and when there is time, we'll come back and read a few more of them. It's our special homecoming edition, the whole of this week dedicated to some of our iconic stars, persons who blazed the trail in this business long before I ever walked the corridors of GBC, and we're celebrating all who have made these 88 years of the broadcast journey for GBC such a huge success. This is still Breakfast on GTV. I'll hand over to Gifty and her panel.
All right. Thank you, Thelma. And yes, the TV license short code is *447 *33 hash. *447 *33 hash. In fact, this should be a political issue. The party that pays more or gets its all members to pay will have the bragging right. Okay. I didn't want to go there. I don't want any wahala this morning. Honorable Dapila. Now, Honorable Dapila, yes. So there was the issue of the monies. I mean, quite shocking. There was the call for resignation, a call for investigation. All that has been promised. What next? What's the picture?
Well,
what are we looking at?
Auntie Gifty, I feel sad when I got to know of this story, or when this story broke out in the news. You see, we're in a country where people don't question people where they get their wealth from. Even you have people, teenagers, who are having money, they drive fancy cars, luxurious cars, they live in better places in Accra here. Nobody questions them where they get their wealth from. And that is one of the weaknesses of the system. We need to have checks and balances. We need to be able to monitor people inflows and outflows, what people do, so that at any point people can answer for where they are getting their monies from. You see, it is sad. I am a politician and I'm not happy because politicians, we are perceived to be thieves in this country.
Right.
We are not. We shouldn't be proud of ourselves. We should not. Many people see us to be
perceived as very corrupt.
Yeah, they see us to be corrupt people. We are the ones that is making this country to suffer. That is what is out there. And I was shocked when this revelation came out, particularly from a minister, a mother, a grandmother. Why? I'm sad also because she lost the job, she lost the money, she lost her integrity. There's no way she can gain that integrity back.
How do you say that?
I will say that because
prior to that, you and I will agree that she's one of those that, just as we were talking about Madame Sheriat, I'm not comparing, but she had handled herself very well.
Yeah, very, very well, because
very well and very decently.
You listen, Auntie Gifty. Look, integrity, once it's gone, you can't get it back. Even if you get it back, some pieces. That is what I'm saying. All that she's worked for up to this age, I can confidently tell you that she lost it within the Ghanaian populace, the international community, her own party. Go. I have interacted with MPP members. The level at which they are bashing her. They say she is one minister. When you go to her, she tells you that she doesn't have money.
But if we call any of the MPP, they would deny that they told you that.
That's what I'm coming. I have gone to other programs or other sister stations to discuss this issue.
Right.
And I went on panel with MPP people.
Right.
One even showed me on their platform
And
what was ongoing. But I shared the information with that person, and the person kept it on their platform and tagged the woman. Come and see the insults. Straight away, they started bashing her. But you see, Madam Cecilia Dapa, you cannot keep money in your house such that your housemate can be stealing the money for 4 months without you even noticing that they were taking money.
We don't know whether she did it.
Listen, read the story. Read the story. I have taken time to read the story.
The statement she issues.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not looking at
representation.
It's not.
Whole thing.
I'm telling you what the reports from the court. This case has been around since last year. It's not a novel. It's not a new thing. It's not a new thing. If you take your time to read the story very well.
Exactly. It was.
Now that it is in the public domain. But the case has been ongoing.
Yeah.
In the court since last year. And if you read the story very well, you realize that for 4 good months, they were taking the money and other properties in the house for 4 good months until when the husband was returning to pick something in the house and caught one of the maids in the room. That was when they then took time or pain to search, and they realized that these monies were being taken. So you can imagine the quantum of money that is in the house. It's not like it's the $1 million and 300,000 euro and the cedis that they took. They took from bigger portion.
We don't know that.
That is true. If you read the story, Auntie Gifty. The story will confirm what I'm telling you. I'm not speculating. Yeah. I took my time to read the story. So it's not like it's just money they kept in the bag and they picked the money. No, they took from chunk of money. Now, this story is so devastating and so sad because people are asking questions. So if you were to go around to all the ministers' homes, you can imagine what they are keeping there. That is the question many people are asking.
Not just the ministers, politicians' homes.
Well, politicians, but mostly ministers, CEOs, and those things.
This is not the first time we are having ministers. We've had ministers over.
I
read where somebody said in a serious country there would have been a swoop in all the homes
of
ministers, and everything,
yes,
to find out how much money.
And you would have, and I tell you that if they were to do that, probably there won't be the need for us to go to IMF.
How much money do you have at home?
Me, nothing. I don't have anything. Nothing. But you see, let me continue with this story. So for me, let me give this advice to many of our so-called big men in society. Look, your bedroom is the only secret place that you have in your house. It is not a place that, however rich you are, whether first lady, whatever, if you cannot just spend a day, a Saturday to clean your bedroom, where you and your husband sleep. Look, if a housemaid, a maid, should know inside your bedroom, then the entire house, you don't have a house.
I get
then
where
it's not a home again.
But this twist you are putting
it's not a home again.
But if you read the story, it is told that she used a duplicate.
Now listen, Auntie Gifty.
So it could be.
Auntie Gifty, listen. Let me.
I've been given opportunity.
Let me tell you. They've been cleaning in the room, and that's where they saw the money. And they then tempted to steal.
Yes.
If they were not cleaning, they wouldn't know that they keep money here. Do you understand? I've told you that I've taken my time to analyze that story very well. It is because they have access. They go in there to clean, and that is where they saw the money. Then they now felt that, well, let's find a way of breaking into the room to pick the money. So I'm saying that you and your husband bedroom, the master bedroom, it is the only secret place in the house. So if a stranger that you employed to come and work for you, that stranger equally knows inside that bedroom, it means you are empty, you are naked. That is the advice I'm giving to people who think they have arrived, they've made money, they don't need to do anything in the house. Even your matrimonial bed must be dressed by a maid. Please, this is what we'll be experiencing from them. Let me also add that many of us also don't handle these maids very well. We treat them carelessly. Your maid, your driver, your security. There are people who just think that because I pay you, I can talk to you anyhow. I can handle you anyhow. You understand? I am telling you that if you were to do serious investigation, you will get to realize that the relationship between, probably the relationship between Madame Dapa and the husband and this mate.
It could also be that they have such a good relationship that they trusted these children. But talking about you analyzing, one aspect I have also been worried about is how 18-year-olds would have that confidence to steal such an amount of money, and how they spent.
Yeah, if you look at it, was a cabal. It wasn't one person. That even included their boyfriends and former boyfriends.
Exactly.
So it tells you that it is because probably they've seen the money and they've gone to consult.
Discuss it.
They've gone to discuss it.
Somebody
outsiders. And they then probably give them the way you can get into the room is that get a duplicate key. I can get it for you. That's why even a former boyfriend can be compensated as much as 1 million Ghana cedis. 1 million Ghana cedis. So I'm just trying to say that let's handle these housemates very well. Let's try to draw a barrier. They should know their boundaries, their limitations within their house. Yes, you want them to help you tidy the place and all of that, but not into your bedroom. They shouldn't get in there. At least for a weekend, also spend just at least less than 30 minutes. It's exercise to clean your bedroom, your master bedroom, and tidy it up.
As a couple,
as a couple, yes.
Yeah,
you should spend some. I know of.
It's all to be part of the bonding.
Yes, it's part of the bonding.
Just to help you, I was reading a comment made by the late Queen Elizabeth of England. He said there are two things that she was not allowing people to do for her. That's laying the husband's bed and cooking for the husband. The house helped cook for her when the food that she's going to eat was different from that of the husband. She cooks the husband's food.
This cooking angle you brought in will take us to another level. I will spend 1 hour
let me conclude. What I'm trying to just say
because what about those who have chefs at home?
Politicians.
If I have a chef, why should I be, that would be another.
Politicians, for me, it's not bad to have house help or maid, but let them know their boundaries.
There are limits.
Don't let them extend to your master bedroom, where that is the secret of the house. That is the only place that nobody should know except you, even you as couples. But even within the same master bedroom, there will be something you'll be hiding that you don't even want your husband to see, and the vice versa. Yeah. So how do you then invite a stranger to come in to clean? Probably someone in your absence.
When we're children living with our grandparents,
what will happen.
My grandfather would send to the room.
This resignation thing, like you said, it didn't start today. Sometimes I cry for Victoria Hammer when she just wished she could make $1 million and probably quit politics.
Leave my daughter out of this situation.
So I cry for her because now people now have real money. Real money. People are now getting real money.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dapila. Thank you very much, Honorable Ayepe. Thank you so much. Lots of lessons, to be learned, especially for you, the politicians, as well. Because when such things happen, most of what is in the public domain is what comes. And now with social media, by the time you realize they have just finished you, quote unquote, before the real matters or issues come out.
I'll plead with those who have sat money under their best to invest in job creation ventures so that the youth can get good jobs.
And I'll plead with you to pay your TV licenses now.
We will.
I mean, before you leave here. And the short code is 447 star 447 star 33 hash star 447 star 33 hash. Pay your TV license and let it be a hashtag, a bragging right. Hashtag I have paid my TV license and show us the evidence.
Auntie Gifty, was Madam Dapa, was she right? People are also divided that she shouldn't have gone to court. She should have just taken what she can take and protect her integrity. That is another think many people
looking
are
at the
talking
amount
about.
of money involved. Can you allow that to go? You have to go to court. If you
We
don't
thank
really
you
that
very
the
much.
Where
There's
will she
more
get the
coming
money?
up
Where will she get
on
the money?
because that's another angle we can look at. But my director is speaking into my ears. You know, one of the things I've always hated as a news presenter, as a TV show host, I hate the earpiece. You know, the talkback. But now he's telling me that I should wrap up. So I guess it's an ongoing issue, and we can look at it. But that's a very relevant question, relevant issue to raise. But this is The Breakfast Show. We'll be back.